All right, all right. Earth calling these water companies. Earth calling these water companies. Step foot in my office. Step foot in my office. So about, let me see, got out 2023. Out 2023, I once stated that the new gold would be what? It'll be water. And yesterday I had a thought. No, I don't have much thoughts. Yesterday I had me a pretty good thought. And I kind of didn't, I seen it, but I didn't act on it. And I waited. Like I always do, I waited. And long story short, the thought crossed my mind again earlier today. I seen it, I didn't act on it, I waited. And then it hit me back again tonight. So I delve into it just a little bit. Get a little taste. And what initially hit me was that I went yesterday and I had a couple noodles and I got some water from the fountain. And every time I drink fountain water, I don't know, it's like I can feel like the flu coming over me or something, you know? And so I delve into my thought process and I realize what would be the power move. And the power move, now this is going to be bold, it's going to be edgy, but it's a market. Power move, I was thinking, how can I, if I was a company like a Dasani, Avion, all these water brands, right? If I was one of these brands, these companies, they package their water in bottle, which is great, always need to do, right? But there's a whole nother market that nobody's messing with. And it require, I guess, a reservoir. No, not a reservoir, because that's what they do for the natural fountain, right? And you want to be able to cancel out as much gas, depths, and expenses from having to use these vehicles to put the water in. And it dawned on me, what let's talk about, yeah, wake them up, tell them we talking money, we're talking billions, trillions. um let's talk about building, what do they call those things with, I mean, what do they have? I guess they have a factory, right? Building a system and a pipeline infrastructure for bottled water to come out of fountains. So I know what you're thinking, that's a horrible idea, but it really isn't, right? No, we're not giving away for free. We're not. Starting off first round, parks, certain areas, right? Tap pay, and subscription base. Strictly for the exclusive. Now, when I first was thinking about it, I was thinking of water. And then like 10, 15 minutes ago, I was thinking, we could do Gatorade too. But then because Gatorade has the sugar, it'll take an entirely different pipeline. And it'll be a little, not far-fetched, but it will be a little more expensive. Because you have to deal with that sugar going through the pipes and all of that, and the contamination and stuff like that. So that would be a little bit more far-fetched. But dealing with water, though, imagine a person is doing his jogging, whatever, room, goes to a fountain, uses his smartwatch, taps the fountain, okay, and uses just pristine water, the best water. Okay, they ain't got to carry this water bottle with them or nothing like that. And they get as much water as they need. And as they're using the fountain, is when it's deducting the pay. So you might look at most people might get this much water. That might come out to be about 50 cents, 35 cents. Or they might say, you know what? I pay $20 a month so I can use this unlimited. They might want to fill up their bottle. Might come up to be $1.50. Might got one of them big jugs. Might come up to be $4.50, $5, $6, $7, $8. I'm thinking it'll definitely need, because I looked up some factories of Dasani's, and they got like 7 states that Dasani's in. Dasani's owned by Coca-Cola. Um, Shout out Buffett. What up, Buffett? But that my boy there. But anyway, so Dasani's owned by Coca-Cola, but they only got like 7 states that they're in. In the only real southern state they got is North Carolina that they're in. But Dasani is worldwide. So building artificial Dasani dam that actually creates this process of Dasani purified water, and is strictly for a certain fraction of the state, or the state however long ago, because you have to look at piping and all of that, right? I mean, how far do these pipes go, right? When I'm over here and I use this water fountain, and I'm somewhere else and I use another water fountain, is that water coming from the same place? And if so, where is it all connected to? And how far are the pipes interconnected, or what? You know, I don't know. That'd be interesting. But as I was saying, expanding the level of this luxurious brand, right, can easily add an extra 50 billion by. See, I really need to see how do they. I need to see because I'm thinking that it's a whole lot of water, but I don't, but they probably got these stuff in them big pots and stuff like that, right? But talking about expanding this brand for more wider consumption base, right? A more wider consumption base, then building it. It wouldn't necessarily be an artificial dam neither, right? It wouldn't be an artificial dam. It'd be like it'd still be a facility, but it'd have to be big enough to where it can lock in two states. So if one is housed in Alabama, it can also handle certain parts of Mississippi, or possibly it can expand to certain parts of Atlanta, depending on which ways. But yeah, if it's you know what I'm saying, because those states are right beside each other. So it's three states. You have one, two, three, right? But so I wouldn't necessarily say it would be a dam. It'd be a water plant that would constantly be under sterilization and doing what it normally does to make the water, but facilitates it through a pipeline infrastructure underground that would allow for that would allow pipeline infrastructure underground that would allow for targeted specified fountains, right? Hmm. Someone might sit there and say, hey, um, they go ahead and pay for $1 worth and they have it, which is $1 worth, which is whatever that amount would be, and they only use 25 cents of it. And then they're looking and like, well, I still got 75 cents on my, what you call it, I still got a bunch of more sips of that, whatever the case may be. And then that won't even be, and then that won't even be taxable. Hmm. I mean, it could be, but it don't have to be. I mean, that to me is, it's, oh God, that to me is expanding the usage of this pristine water. And it'll work. It'll work because people would $1.50, $1.50 all day long. And the water continues to go through the system. Hmm. So you still have your tap fountains, but then you also have your luxury fountains. I don't like tap fountains. They make me sick. They're not up to par. By taking this luxury water, having a market where this luxury water is out the bottle, profits is endless. If they so desire, they can put it in the bottle. It's innovative, it's daring, it's bold, and it's allowing hardworking Americans. You know what I mean? It's allowing hardworking Americans to not go out the way to buy water from a store. Which is nothing wrong with that. People are going to still do it. People are going to still do it.